My mother is like a person who listens to the wind and rain. When Lao Xian said wearing a meteorite can ensure safety, she bought a consecrated piece from Lao Xian for my sister. But I detected that the radiation of this stone exceeded the standard, so I handed over the stone to treat it harmlessly. My mother was so angry that she slapped me and hit me on the boiling stove. I covered my face and cried out in pain, and inadvertently stripped off the burnt skin on my face, revealing bright red and flesh, which scared my sister to cry. My mother was worried that her sister would be so scared that she lost her soul, so she took her to the hospital, but threw me seriously burned at home. From then on, I became an ugly person that everyone disliked, and I was very miserable for a lifetime. In the end, my mother was sold to an old bachelor and tortured to death by myself. I went back to my mother when she went to Laotian to buy meteorites. My mother was happily taking the meteorite with radiation home, hanging it on her sister's neck, and proudly said, "This is an energy stone, which can keep you safe." It took me thousands of dollars to do this energy stone. The baby I asked for can keep you safe, get promoted and make money. It is with my baby. I looked at the young mother and young sister in front of me in a daze, and my ears were filled with the voices of my 60-year-old mother scolding me. "Today your sister's son is getting married, you must give her 500,000 yuan, can you take it? Come out, I will beat you to death, a useless ugly monster." In my last life, shortly after I was disfigured, my parents were afraid that my appearance would cause gossip, so they asked me to go to another place for medical treatment, but they deceived me to take a leave of absence from school because of this excuse. After returning from school, I didn't go to the doctor for a long time. I pestered my parents to ask questions every day. They were so annoyed that they sent me to the factory to screw the screws privately. I made trouble, but all I got was my father's accusation and my mother's attack. The money earned by parents is for the treatment of asthma for my sister. If you want to graft your skin, just work and earn money by yourself. Your sister will die without good medical treatment, but disfigurement will not kill you. You are the sister, can't you do it with your sister? As he said that, his parents also cried, especially his mother's grievance and self-blame. I felt distressed when I looked at it, so I accepted the result of twisting the screws and worked diligently for 5 years. Saved 200,000. The doctor said that this 200,000 can restore my appearance to 70%, but my sister wanted to study abroad at that time, so she was short of this 200,000. Since I was young when I entered the factory and could not have my own bank card, my salary was always in my mother's card. As expected, when I was about to be hospitalized for payment, the card was empty. Yumi is your sister. You shouldn't have made money with her. You can still earn 200,000 yuan, but you can't ruin your sister's future. When your sister returns from school, she will definitely repay you. But even my sister would coax me softly, "Sister, I'm sorry, but I'm really the only hope of this family. Please help me, okay? Can you help me pay tuition and living expenses? I will definitely do this in the future, find the best doctor for you." When I regained my appearance and your sister, you were insulted by workers and violently beaten by your roommate at night. After these 5 years, I had already lost the ability to distinguish right from wrong. Now my parents are kind to persuade me, and my sister is full of hope. I seem to have grasped a trace of light in life. I no longer resist and completely obey their decisions. My parents specially found a factory, and the factory director arranged an independent workshop and an independent dormitory for me. I thought this was my parents' love for me. My sister would send me postcards every few weeks, sharing some interesting things that happened to her abroad. I thought this was my sister's concern for me. Sister, life abroad is not as beautiful as I imagined. Studying is such a boring thing, but when I think of my sister's sacrifice for me, I just cry with tears in my eyes. I want to learn all of today's courses. Sister, this is the chocolate I bought from working part-time. I moved a small bite and found it delicious. I sent you the rest. Don't dislike it, because it's too expensive and I can't bear to buy it for myself. Sister, I'm sorry, no matter how thrifty I am, I will still be reluctant to ask you for money. The school arranged for me to be the host, but I don't have a decent evening dress. Forget it, I still won't be the host. These are just honey that my parents and sisters have joined forces to make me feel like they are filled with. The so-called independent workroom is just because the concentration of harmful substances in this workroom is too high, and ordinary workers are unwilling to come in. The so-called independent dormitory is just because the roommates dislike me too ugly and move away. The so-called postcard of my sister, it was just a way for my sister to give him money to me. I worked in the factory for 10 years, and was eroded by harmful substances day and night. I was dazzled, my hands trembled, my heart became even more tired, and I became a waste person. At the age of 30, I was fired and returned home. I couldn't say anything and asked my parents and sister for help. On this day, my father said, "Your sister is having a hard time marrying into a wealthy family. Don't worry her." The sister also agreed and said, "You are 30 years old and you can't get married. Why bother with me again? Where is plastic surgery?" My sister begged me pitifully and said, "Sister, can you wait? When I am strong enough, I will definitely find the best doctor for you." This time, I waited until my sister and son got married. My parents took out all the pensions to my grandson, but they forced me to pay 500,000 gifts, otherwise I would feel that I could not look up in front of my in-laws. They sold me to an old bachelor and exchanged a 100,000 yuan bride price. In addition, the money I saved after picking up rags over the years, they wanted to take it all for my sister. I held the money and refused to let go. At the age of age, they ignored their image and performed mixed doubles on me. They beat and scolded me, but they accidentally beat me to death. I came to my senses and looked at the sister in front of me hanging the stone of peace I asked for on my sister's neck. My sister held the stone and smiled happily. "It looks so good, thank you, Mom." "What do you thank me?" "But your mother is beautiful. Do you want to make a wish with ping and stone? Maybe it will work." My sister glanced. "I." "Then hold the stone in your chest. Pray." I don't have time to appreciate the scene of my children laughing. Go to the room honestly. Move your stuff into a narrow storage room. Mom came over and asked me what was wrong when she heard the news. Of course I won't say that the ping and stone has a high radiation standard. I don't want to be in the same room with my sister. So I said it was the third year of junior high school. I don't want to disturb my sister's studies, so I'll stay in a storage room from now on. Mom smiled very proudly. "He also looked like you should be like this." "Is that true? You're my sister. I should let my sister. Besides, your sister is not in good health." But when I closed the door to the storage room, my sister told her mother excitedly, "Do Mom know what wish I made just now?" I just told her too. "Want a separate room?" I didn't expect it to be realized so soon. This stone is really useful. Not only peace stone. It's even more a wishing stone. Mom was shocked. Still a little surprised. But seeing my sister so happy, didn't go into it in depth. Instead, he said to his sister, "Beautiful, is it good to make another wish? See if it will be realized later." My sister nodded vigorously. "I want to have a complete strawberry cake." Why do my sister want to have a complete strawberry cake? Because this family is not rich. Parents will only buy one luxury item like strawberry cake. For this luxury, my sister and I are mostly divided equally. I only got equal parts when I cried. How could I understand what my parents said to me repeatedly at that time? "You are sister, you should let your sister." Actually, it's the parents' absolute preference for their sister. Wait for Dad to come back from get off work. I really carried a strawberry cake in my hand. My sister happily hugged my father's arm. Required to open the box. Enjoy the strawberry cake. A family is having a happy life. Constant laughter and joy. It's just a while. My mother's voice was pressing down very low from outside. "Say goodbye. Don't let your sister hear it. Otherwise, she will definitely rob half of your cake." Dad hurriedly responded. "Isn't that true? Look at your sister's selfishness. I'm afraid of it. My sister doesn't care. This is a strawberry cake given to me by my parents, so my sister is not qualified to grab it." Yes. How can I be qualified to compete with my sister? Parents belong to sister. Parents' home. It's just my sister's home. I'm just an outsider from beginning to end. Parents and sister are very tacitly. Nothing about strawberry cake. I'm silent either. After dinner. Go back to the narrow storage room. My sister followed me in, too. Her expression of bitterness. Holding a stack of homework in your hands. She said pitifully, "Sister, can you lend me a look at homework? Too much homework. I'm afraid I won't finish writing later." My sister doesn't like to study. Every night there will be a scene where you can't finish your homework. I used to tell my parents. Also cooperate with parents to educate their sister. Now I don't think it's necessary. I reached out to take the homework from her hand. Turning around and handing her the homework. My sister was shocked. A pair of eyes wide open. "Sister, what is this for? If you don't want to do your homework in the future, I can write for you." Hello. Why isn't the only way out? Is life short? Why bother you, sister? She was stunned for a while. My mind doesn't seem to be able to turn around yet. I added. I hope we live our beauty happily every day. Parents' greatest wish should be to make you worry-free for the rest of your life. After all, you haven't been alive for a long time. My sister still has a little hesitation. Another moment of wondering. Finally, I took over my homework. And repeat tentatively. Asked. Sister. Then I will give you all my homework. I looked at the peace stone hanging around her neck. Nodding with a smile. No problem. My sister has a complete strawberry cake. My sister also owns a separate room. I also have a helper who can do her homework. My sister attributed all the success to the piece my mother asked for. On the stone, before bed. She didn't forget to tell her mother. Mother. This peace stone. What a baby. Please ask for one for Dad, too. Let Dad earn more money. Mom nodded repeatedly. Keep saying yes. Go to school the next day, the stone of peace. My sister who had been sleeping all night had bleeding noses. Mom doesn't care. Road. It must be that Ping and Stone's energy is too strong. You're so weak. Just get used to it. At the same moment. My sister is still looking at herself with red faces in the mirror. Praise. Mom. See if my skin is whiter. The face is more shiny. Mom pinched her sister's little face in a doting way and said gently. Yes. Our little girl is getting more and more beautiful. Mother and daughter talk and laugh. No one thinks the whiteness on my sister's face is pale. The light on my sister's face is oily. I saw this scene. Then he took out all the money in the piggy bank. Go to the maternal and child store to buy a radiation-proof apron. I'm wearing an apron. Washing. Brush the bowl. Cleaning. I no longer compete with my sister for anything to eat, drink and have fun. The cleanliness of the house was beyond my dad's expectations. The harmony at home deepens my mother's trust in Pingengshi. Occasionally when I go downstairs to remove the trash. You can also hear my mother and her neighbors chat with melon seeds. Do you know why our boss has become so obedient? It's all because I went to Daxian to ask for Peace Stone back. Don't your two boys always fight? Do you want to ask for a stone of peace? This Ping and Stone guarantees Ping and school. Keep family harmony. My beautiful family will no longer have asthma with this stone. This is too much to say. There are always people who want to be a living horse doctor. Ask my mom to get a peace stone. Come back and try. My mother brings business to the immortals in the temple. The immortal in the temple is very grateful. I gave my mother a peace stone. So there was also a stone on my father's neck with excessive radiation. Mom said. Don't you always say that your waist is sore and your neck is hurting? There is energy in this peace stone that can relieve discomfort. Dad expressed doubts about this. But my mother retorted. Now you can see, I haven't been there for half a month. The whole person is so good. Dad glanced at the beautiful person sitting on the sofa, and Yumeli, the more beautiful his father was, couldn't help but nod. If you don't say it, beauty is getting better and better. His face was white and red. My parents are happy about my sister becoming beautiful. But I'm afraid I'm the only one who knows the specific situation of my sister. In the past, she didn't want to go to school or do her homework, so she always pretended to be sick. Now she doesn't have to write her homework by herself, so of course she is not opposed to going to school. What's more, she is in love. In order to show her most beautiful side in front of the boy she likes, a girl in love spends at least 2 hours on her nude makeup every day. Although she had been tortured by radiation and her face was pale, and although she was extremely weak, for the sake of her lover, she did not attribute the physical discomfort to the exquisite stone on her neck. She believed that she had nosebleeds because of the girl's childhood in her childhood, and that she was so weak because she lost weight and didn't eat. She also believed that she had a high fever occasionally, so that she could get more care from her lover. She didn't notice that she looked like a ghost every night after she took off her makeup. Even behind the wall light, I could see the fluorescence emitted from her body. Originally, I thought the first one to be retribution would be my sister, but I didn't expect that the first one to leave would be my sister's boyfriend. One night, my sister secretly spent the night outside. It was also that night that my sister handed over her whole body to her boyfriend, and handed over the piece of Ping and Stone with good luck. My sister deeply reminded her boyfriend, this Ping and Stone contains my deep love for you. You must keep it with you. Even if you take a shower and sleep, you must pray to Ping and Stone day and night until you get married and have children. Happy for a lifetime. Is it right? Yes. My sister's boyfriend loves her so much. He will pick a wild flower on the lonely mountain for her and use all his pocket money to buy the cosmetics that his sister loves. How could he easily take down the peace stone that carries love and blessings? Woolen cloth? So, in just 3 months, the handsome sunny boy was diagnosed with acute leukemia overnight. After a series of chemotherapy surgery, the boy was unable to save his life. The boy died, and before he died, he returned his sister's peace stone to her. Sorry, Meili, I can't marry you and have children anymore, it's useless. I can't give you happiness. I'll give you peace and peace. Forget me, you will meet a boy who loves you more. Beautiful, sorry, beautiful, I love you. My sister cried in front of her boyfriend's bed and couldn't help herself. As accompanying me, I looked at everything in front of me silently, but I felt indescribable joy in my heart. I know my sister's little boyfriend, and I even say she is very familiar with her. She was the person who took the lead in bullying me in the factory in her previous life. Because of her secret love for her sister, she obeyed her words. I still remember the day before I was fired. I heard him and my sister call, "Don't worry, I will take care of your sister. I promise she is helpless and live in the darkness every day until you save her." It may be unimaginable that your sister hangs your photo at the head of the bed and recites your name silently every day. You are your sister's hope for survival, and of course she will willingly send you money. After her sister was sad about her first love death for about 2 weeks, she once again received a love letter from the boys in her class. My sister's bitter face opened her smile at this moment. The privacy of my daughter's house is absolutely something I cannot tell her parents. As my sister, I naturally became her only person to talk to. Sister, you said that a Tao had just passed away and I was with his brother Aheng. Wouldn't it be bad? Will the classmates in the class say to me? Aheng said that he promised a Tao that he would take good care of me and not be burdened. But sister, I seem to really fall in love with Aheng. I encouraged her to dare to pursue love, and I even advised her, life is short, don't care about other people's opinions, being happy in the moment is the most important thing. I also suggest that she have a love affair with Aheng that will always be together. My sister, who was already a little timid, rushed to a new partner after hearing my words that were so touching my heart. Sister, her parents proposed to live in the school. She said she should seize all the time she can study. She should get into a key high school and get into a key university to repay her parents. The parents were so overwhelmed by their sister's words that they were so reluctant to leave when they sent their sister to the school dormitory. If you don't have enough living expenses, tell your mother. If you don't feel comfortable, you should call your father at any time. And this peace stone, you must always carry it to bless you. The sister nodded with tears in her eyes, said goodbye to her parents, and ran into the arms of her lover. Unlike the low-key moment of falling in love for the first time, my sister's second time in love is well known. They hold hands on campus, feed each other in the cafeteria, and love each other in class. The students were upset when they saw it, and the teachers were upset when they saw it. The head teacher talked to me several times, hoping that I would persuade my sister to hurry up and take the last time of the 3rd year of junior high school, otherwise she would have to go to the factory to work in the future. I shook my head and said, "Apologize, teacher, beautiful women are in poor health. I just want to force her to do things she doesn't want to do." A person's life is always unexpected. It is important to have a bright future, but the present is the most worth cherishing, right? Just like my parents and I only hope that Beauty can be happy. After all, she will not be happy for long. The head teacher sighed. Even the parents and sisters said this. As a teacher, what else can the head teacher say to his sister? So the teacher was too lazy to care and completely let her sister's freedom. Sister, if I fail to get into high school, will my parents blame me? I know it's not good for me to do this now, but I can't control myself from loving Aheng. He said that after graduating from junior high school, his parents would send her to study abroad. I will go with him at that time. Do you want to go? I'll let Aheng take you with me. Their family is very rich. Just one more tuition fee. No big problem. Some things may be determined in the dark. My sister's current boyfriend Aheng is the younger sister's husband in her previous life. Aheng is rich and beautiful, and his sister is happy to marry him all her life. The only bad thing is Aheng's mother. She thinks that families like ours are not worthy of families like theirs, and especially look down on my mother. Every time the two mothers meet, they will definitely face each other. I thought my mother and Aheng's mother would not have a chance to meet in this life. Unexpectedly, they have a fate that can be broken. My sister died, and her body was hidden in the canteen freezer and was discovered for 2 weeks. When I found it, there was a stone of peace that my mother asked her for her on her neck. She was disheveled and had a terrified face. It can be seen that her sister should have suffered great pain when she died. Because it was a scandal and on the eve of the high school entrance examination, the school did not want to make a big deal, which made the teachers' and students' thoughts messed up, and finally chose to keep it secret. The relevant personnel secretly investigated the results in 3 days. Ah Heng admitted that he killed his sister. Ah Heng said, "We often look for excitement in every corner of the school. After dinner that day, we were on a whim and wanted to be in the cafeteria. Hee, it was my fault, it was me who didn't control myself, and I didn't expect me to be harmed. Death is beautiful, I love beauty, I really love." As he said that, Ah Heng burst into tears. My father looked pale and shocked, and could not accept that his beloved little daughter had done such a tragic thing. Mom cried and reached out to beat Ah Heng, accusing Ah Heng of slandering his sister and insulting Ah Heng as a coaxing and tempting him. There was a riot in the mediation room. At this time, Ah Heng's mother, the sister's mother-in-law, spoke. She cried and said, "Why do you have to? Why don't you ask for your needs? Let's just say how much you want. You can make it clear that my son is 14 years old. No matter how bastard he is, he will not be punished. I will solve this matter decently, otherwise it would be nice to go to the police station." My mother wanted to struggle for her backbone and said, "No matter how much money you have, it can't be exchanged for my daughter's life." But Ah Heng's mother is such a powerful person. She stretched out a finger and shouted, "The price is 1 million, is it enough?" Dad said, "The results of the beautiful grade exam can't be admitted to high school at all. Even if you get into high school, you still have to support her in school for many years. When she graduates, she will be 5,000 yuan a month. If you want to earn enough 1 million, I don't know how many years have you made this deal." As Ah Heng's mother thought, this million is enough to buy my mom and my dad's sadness and dignity. My parents also knew that this was the best way. It was embarrassing that they had a big deal, but they were soon given 1 million. My parents held a funeral for my sister. My parents asked my sister how she died, but my parents only said that she was under great pressure to study. I am afraid that only I know that my sister's death originated from the stone of peace. After the funeral, the peace stone was placed in my father's hand. Seeing that my father is now dark, I guess the days should not be far away. Dad frowned with 2 peace stones. When Beautiful died, there was a stone of peace hanging around his neck. Is this peace really useful? If it is useful, why can't we keep Beautiful peace? Mom looked calm, folded her hands together, and looked at Ping Angshi with a pious and respectful look. Why isn't it safe? A daughter who is unfilial, restless and chaotic has received 1 million. Do you think this is trusting? Dad paused and then realized. Mom added, "Take it with you, everything is the best arrangement for Ping Angshi." It was also at that moment that my mother believed in the efficacy of Ping and Stone. It can change fate, luck, and make money. And that 1 million was used as the startup capital by my mother and started a business selling Ping and Stone. After investing the money in the goods, the rent and decoration of 300,000 yuan, the mother invested the money and said to her father, "I only invest 600,000 yuan. If I pay for it, I will have at least 400,000 yuan to spend the rest of my life." My father was tortured by 2 peace stones every day and was exhausted both physically and mentally, and he had no extra mood to interfere in his mother's decision. But my mother always said that her waist and legs were sore when she looked at her father, so she specially bought him a set of Ping and mattress. The mattress weighed a total of 20 kilograms, and the material was exactly the same as Ping and Stone. I went home from school that day, and I watched my father lying on the mattress. My mother was massaged by her back with a peace stone. My heart thrust hard, and I felt that the radiation-proof apron I bought was probably not able to resist such a strong radiation. So that day I proposed to my parents about living in the school, and packed up my things overnight and ran away. My parents have never cared about me. When I went there, they didn't care. As for how much I could see from their eyes, I hope that like my sister, I can bring them 1 million reward. My dad died in the 3rd week of his stay in school. My mother rushed directly from class to my dad's company downstairs and pulled a banner that read, "A company that is so conscientious, forcing people to work overtime to kill people, give my husband, and give my daughter a father." Only then did I realize that my dad died at the workstation. My mom decided that my dad lost his life because he was too tired. Because of its huge momentum, it has attracted the attention of many media reporters. My dad's company was criticized for tax evasion not long ago. At this moment, he naturally didn't want to make the matter big, so he agreed to mediation and the compensation was 1 million yuan. My mom signed the letter of understanding and then took my dad's personal belongings home. Your sister is worth 1 million, your father is worth 1 million, I have 2 million, but I have no two people. She cried and cried for several days, feeling aggrieved and pitiful, really made her feel people feel sorry for it. But a few days after crying, she suddenly became energetic again. She bought her favorite clothes, started to put on the most beautiful makeup, wandered among her distant neighbors, and promoted her peace stones. No one questioned the role of Pingangshi, after all, she was dead. The daughter died again. My husband's only unpleasant child still lives in school and does not return home at all. My mom said my daughter was dead. Do you know how she died? She was only 14 years old and did all the shameless things, and she deserved it if she died. The most important thing is that she did not die in vain and earned me 1 million. My husband died, but he deserves to die, too. Can you believe that he is so cowardly and actually hides many women from outside? If she hadn't died, how could I see what he was hiding in the drawer? Those things are disgusting, and I don't even want to buy them for him. Fortunately, he earned me 1 million when he died. How many million can I earn in life? If it weren't for Pengangshi's blessing, would I have lived this well? My mother now has a house and a car, and she dresses up every day, which is definitely the most eye-catching among the crowd. In addition, I was admitted to a key high school with the first place in the city and got a ranking in the junior high school physics competition, thus waived high school tuition fees. The good news of the school walked around the streets. When my mother promoted the effects of ping and stone, her high head was like a proud swan. The neighbors who went to school for their children believed it, and the neighbors who wanted to make a fortune also believed it. In just 1 month, all 300,000 yuan of goods were sold out. Just when she was happy to go to get the second batch of goods, the police followed her, found the temple all the way, and found the immortal who supplied my mother. My mother and that immortal were both arrested. My mother kept arguing in court, I have not made money or killed my life. This thing is to ensure peace. If you don't believe it, you will be punished by God. The police told her that the safe stone she mentioned was actually a deadly stone. The nuclear radiation inside the stone exceeded the standard, and the radiation value was 1122.4, which exceeded the background value of the site every hour by more than 10,000 times. Wearing this stone on your body is equivalent to having an X-ray chest X-ray on your body for 1,170 times. If you continue with such a radiation dose, it will take up to 3 months to kill a person. You can calculate it yourself. Did your daughter, your daughter's ex-boyfriend, and your husband all died about 3 months wearing this stone? My mother widened her eyes and couldn't believe it. She had to make excuses, tell her the ugly things about her sister and father outside, and prove it to this stone with excessive nuclear radiation. But in the face of scientific facts, any superstitious remarks are of no use. The great immortal was sentenced to life imprisonment when he knew the law. My mother was sentenced for ignorance. As for the stones that have been sold, they were retrieved one by one under the police investigation and were harmlessly destroyed. The compensation for the death of my father was taken back by my father's original company. Aheng's mother didn't ask for the compensation for the death of my sister. He probably didn't want to have any more involvement with my family. But because the stones my mother sold were still those innocent victims who suffered from leukemia, the money was naturally used for the medical expenses of those people. I only have one room left by my parents. I sat in the living room, feeling the loneliness in the room, without any loneliness. The past is like a passing cloud. When my sister quarreled with me, my parents' blame was still very clear in my mind. In the past decade, the partial life and the pain of being exploited for decades have been relieved at this moment. I took a deep breath and looked at the complete strawberry cake in front of me. This is the strawberry cake I bought with a scholarship, the strawberry cake that belongs to me alone. I ate it in big mouthfuls, and it turned out that the taste of a person who enjoyed it was so happy. I sold my old house and left 50,000 yuan for my future high school and college study, and used all the remaining money to pay for the evils my mother caused. The ping and stone that went out of my mother's hand caused 3 children to suffer from leukemia. I've tried matching, but only helped one of the kids. With the help of caring people in society, another child was treated. Only the remaining child, because of the rare blood type, was not easy to find a suitable adaptation, and because the child was abandoned by his parents since childhood, he was raised by his grandmother. The grandmother could not bear the child's leukemia and died soon after. From then on, I took on all the medical expenses of this child. The medical expenses were expensive. I barely provided the work study and scholarships. It was not until I graduated from college, had formal income, and made greater progress in technology, that child's leukemia was obtained. An opportunity to heal. The moment I watched the child get off the operating table, my anxiety that had been anxious for many years finally let go. I know very well that I was the one who caused those 3 children to suffer from illness, and that I also let this girl who should have her own life like me suffer from torture in the hospital bed. Over the years, I have confessed to the police that I know very well that those stones have radiation, and I also know very well that those stones will kill people. I could have called the police, but because of my selfishness, I called you to investigate. The police were surprised after hearing this, but then comforted me and said, maybe this is the legendary number. When you called the police this time, we caught a factory that made large quantities of radiation stones. Maybe you feel you hurt some innocent people, but in fact you saved thousands of families. I stared blankly at the police officer in uniform, and a different feeling surged in my heart. My mother got cancer when she was in jail for 15 years. I picked her up from the prison and sent her to the hospital as soon as possible. At that time, I was worth hundreds of millions and I was considered a small boss, so my mother also asked the hospital to give her the best treatment. You are my daughter, I will give you a baby and raise you, you must be cured. I, an unfilial person, will not have good fruits to eat. If you don't treat me well, you will definitely scold you until you go bankrupt. Under her bad words, I took her to the best hospital. But she forgot that she had cancer, and the best way to treat cancer was radiotherapy. The principle of radiotherapy is to cause apoptosis and necrosis of tumor cells through radiation to achieve the purpose of treatment. Simply put, it needs to be repeatedly radiated. My mother is already in the late stage and the cancer cells have metastasized throughout the body. When the radiation therapy light shines on the area of the digestive tract, she develops radioactive enteritis. When the radiation therapy light shines on the chest area, her heart will experience various discomforts. And so on, there are the mouth, lungs, and limbs. Hospitals are places where patients can cure diseases and save patients, and they are also places where patients can suffer great pain. After 18 radiotherapy sessions, my mother finally couldn't stand the pain and asked to be discharged from the hospital. No matter how long I can live, I don't want to stay in the hospital for a moment. You take me home, serve me with delicious food and drink, and live as long as I can. I just hope that the last days of my life can be more happy. He even thought about it, no matter what big fish and meat, no matter what seafood or ginseng, he had to taste it himself. He hasn't tasted enough of the sweetness of his life for so many months. He is dying now, so he has to spend money while his daughter is rich. I thought he was right, so I asked him where he wanted to go and what delicious food he wanted. He said that he had never seen the sea or ate lively seafood. I took him to Antarctica for more than 30 hours to watch the sea and ate the freshest and most tender and plump fresh food in the local area. He wanted to vomit at a glance. With my encouragement, he rarely tasted these things, so he took a night of rest until he was dehydrated and sent for first aid. He said he would die like this, because he was too weak and he would not be blessed to receive anything beautiful. But I didn't want him to die, so I spent a lot of money to rescue him from the brink of life and death. After living, he said he wanted to go to a warmer place and eat some cooked food. I took him to fly for dozens of hours, and then took the train for more than 10 hours, and finally arrived in a tribe in Africa. We watched the fireworks party and had local barbecue together. He was sweating profusely and could not eat even a bite of meat. I couldn't bear to leave him alone, so I pulled him into the local native dance activities. His legs were not flexible, so I dragged him to spin. He didn't know how to fiddle with his hands, so I tried hard to keep up with the rhythm. Occasionally I could hear a few clicks and his howls, but no one cared. In addition to me, I just simply felt that my mother's hideous face was just caused by excessive happiness. Later, he said he didn't want to go anywhere, he just wanted to go back to the hospital. Compared to the pain of travel, he now feels a little more comfortable in the hospital. He wants to die with ease, but this kind of death is not in compliance with the rules in China. He begged me to stop taking any rescue measures against him. But this is my mother, my only relative, how can I give up on him easily? He rescued me hundreds of times in total. Every time he woke up, he looked at me in despair. He didn't understand, but he asked me in reverse when he was dying, why did I feel sorry for you? He actually made you hate me like this. He wouldn't feel that his biasness had hurt me. He cried and stopped tormenting or making trouble, and began to listen to the doctor's advice carefully. I thought he had completely accepted his fate, but I didn't expect that early this morning. He climbed to the window and jumped down from the building. The body of my mother was shattered downstairs, but the sun was shining in the distance. I sucked my breath gently, and the time was missing, and even the air became fresher. I can finally breathe cleanly.